Hello and welcome back to another Island 54 development stream. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I'm going to have to spend a couple of minutes at the start just kind of working out where I was up to, making sure everything's working properly. Uh, and I've got a couple of people in. I just need to make sure that the... Hello, random guy. I look different. I have glasses on. That could well be it. I had an eye test and it turned out I was, yeah, in very much need of glasses. Um, okay. And I didn't shave this morning. That could also be it. I am just going to make sure that everything is live. Uh, Remember how? Yep, you guys don't need to see all of my restream settings. Uh, hey, here is Twitch. We are definitely live on Twitch, and I assume we're live on YouTube based on the fact that Random Guy's on YouTube and is commenting. It has been a very long time. I've been busy with all sorts of other things, but hopefully should be able to stream a bit over the next few weeks. So first of all, I need to cover off what I was doing. So if I remember correctly, I was working on refactoring the crafting and the crafting system uh, to take it away from the client and push it off onto the server. Now, it's not actually what I want to be. I know I jump around a bit when I'm doing this development, but right at the moment, I actually want to do a bit more work on the server. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of finish off, close out what I have at the moment, and come back to this a bit later. I kind of really want to get there's a few rough edges in the server that I want to close out. When's the new devlog coming out? Uh, Hopefully soon. I know I keep on saying that. Uh, I think that what I need to do is I actually need to scrap the episode that I have been working on and kind of just start from scratch. The editing is just too much work for me with kind of how much I've done since the last episode. So I think I might just do a short episode and hopefully that will let me close things out a bit sooner, get the episode out a bit sooner. I'm also just pouring myself a coffee here. So yeah, what I'm going to do today is get the crafting system changes just closed out as they are. Yeah, I just failed at pouring my coffee. Oh. And then I'll get to the close to getting some of the rough edges in the server fixed. Uh, there's some stuff that I've kind of really glossed over around parallelization. And I think that it is going to be, as it stands at the moment, it's going to be too difficult to increase the tick rate. And so I just need to, I'd like to just make sure that the architecture I have actually works. So let's see where we were. I guess the first thing to try is just to run stuff. Uh, Now, I have done a full operating system upgrade and things since I last worked on this stuff. So I'm not sure how well things are going to work. But let's just give it all a go. Uh, yes, okay, so I'm going to have to install some command line tools to get all of this stuff working properly. Hopefully, why do ghosts love elevators? I should be able to get this one. No, I don't know. Why do ghosts love elevators? Lift their spirits. Uh, Had to move that window off just to make sure that my password didn't echo. Okay, so we have Docker Compose installed again, don't we? Well, I'm off to a great start here. Yes, so will you have part in the new devlog if I do scrap it? Yes, so I will still cover off the game jam, and your mention is still relevant to that. So yes, that will stay in. Okay. So why can't I run this stuff? Okay, that seems to be working. Docker compose config failed. Module named compose, was it? Can I copy this message out? No. No module named compose. Right. Let's get some help from Google. Docker no module named compose. It's not what I want. It is. Right error at least. And of course there are no answers. Hmm. Looks like it's trying to do something in Python. Oh, well, that would probably be an issue. Install Python. Well, this is a pain. I should probably have got all this stuff working after I did my operating system upgrade. Let's just try and work this out. We're trying to run this one, for example, which itself is trying to run Node from Docker Compose. That's correct, random guy. Yeah, refactoring the crafting code. That's right. And I had ported the database over to the server, and I had changed the client to be able to fetch the recipe lists and things from the server. But right at the moment, I need to work out why Docker Compose stuff isn't working. Uh, it must be something in the way that IntelliJ is running Docker. And it's having troubles parsing that file. That's giving us a bit of a hint. Can I do a Docker Compose from here? Yes. Okay, so there's Python. It's meant to be Python 3. I also have Python 2. Um, I will just try restarting IntelliJ. Let's restart. I did just have to reinstall Docker Compose. Maybe that will be enough to fix it. Ah, that looks better. Now, I will most likely have to upgrade my Unity project as well. So let's just come back into here, bring up demo project. Welcome back, Osleth. Yeah, good to be back on stream. It has been too long. So at the moment, because we do have um, a few extra people by the looks of things. So what I am planning today is just to work out exactly what state things we're at. And I was working on porting the recipes and crafting across to the server. I'm actually going to slightly put that on the back burner because after talking with a couple of friends, I do have some stuff that I've glossed over on the server to do with how work is distributed between nodes. Yeah, everything went very well. Not really a break, unfortunately, but uh, yes, I do now have time to spend on this stuff though, which is good. Do I think I'll stream tomorrow? Yes, I believe I will be streaming tomorrow. Today I'll only be streaming for about 2 hours. I should point out. I've got to pop out in the afternoon. And tomorrow I might start the stream an hour earlier than this. See how I go. This is not looking good, is it? Um, I think that Unity has crashed. Catch you around, Oslath. Thank you for dropping in. All right, I'm going to try killing Unity. Um, um, all right, I'll try doing this, opening this in the latest version. I do have this code. Well, I should make sure, like extra sure that I've got my code checked in first. Here it is, yeah, so git status, that's looking fine. So I'll try upgrading this to the latest version. And then hopefully works a bit better. Oh, this is really not looking good, is it? This will be the fact that I've upgraded my operating system, I suspect. Applies asset database. Okay. Unity. Or square. All right, this looks like what I want. .config Unity3D. Another window in case I dox myself. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to remove the editor log. And then just try it again. Because, yeah, that file was quite large. Just open that with the old version. Welcome back, Griffith. I'm currently fighting with the Unity editor, which is refusing to run for me at the moment. And this is looking suspicious. You are getting that sound, aren't you? I suspect that this is the issue. GDK window get cursor. Looks promising. Deleting 3D folder. Launching it. Okay. Going well, Griffith. Been a bit too busy with other things, but it looks like I've got more time on my hands now, which is good. So hopefully be able to get back into a bit more game development, which is good. NVIDIA. Well, I'm not using the NVIDIA driver. One thing that I have changed is my graphics drivers. Would definitely make sense. Yes, all right. So what I'm going to try is running this. I'm actually going to use a tool. Sign in. This is just a note-taking tool that a friend of mine has been working on. Got my any credentials. Yes, here we go. It's just a nice little note-taking tool that's persistent in the cloud. And it lets me, I mean, it's actually quite nice. I'm not sure if the author of this tool is watching the stream at the moment. But it's got markdown support. It's quite nice. But what's particularly nice about it is you can even do things like you can just embed JSON in here. See, ready that. Quite nice. JSON document. There we go. Quite a nice little tool, this one. We'll be here another 20 minutes. Yeah, cool. I won't be doing a long stream today. I need to be off by 1 o'clock at the latest. I think Griffith means Australian daylight time. So that's 20 minutes away. Hey, DT, Griffith. We're in DT now, not ST. All right, so let's try running this from the command line. And hopefully we get... Oh, yeah, fair enough. It is importing. Okay, something's just come good. All right. sure this is running. It's looking a lot better. Not sure if I'll be able to open it still from Unity Hub, but this will do as a workaround otherwise. So, can I still connect to the server, and does the game kind of mostly work? If it does, then I'm going to put this current recipe code on the back burner and move on to some server changes that I've been talking to a friend about. So I don't have the ability to craft at the moment. So what I might do is I might actually just give myself a little to-do over here. And we'll put in here, can't open crafting menu. But the thing is mostly working. So I'm going to move, I'm just going to let this go for now. I don't know why I have so many players over here. It's a little bit strange. I might have some stale data or something in the server. Something very strange going on there. Okay, so what I am actually wanting to work on is I want to do some performance testing of the server. So in order for me to increase the tick frequency, I need to make sure that the database writes are going out fast enough. And I want to try putting a bit of load on the server. There's some stuff that I know doesn't work in the server with scalability. So if I diagram here, we've got at the moment we've got database, well the data store, call it. It's just Mongo at the moment. I've also got over here we've got the ticker service. Now, ideally, I'd be able to have multiple ticker services. So it would look something like this. Mr. Back isn't there. Then back. This one, black back. In front. All right, that's not really working, but I want to be able to have multiple ticker services. But at the moment, what the ticker service does is it goes through and enumerates all of the agents that are able to have AI processed. So if I did have multiple ticker processors, then I'd end up processing all the AI multiple times. Likewise, we have a UDP transmitter service in here, UDP transmitter, that reads stuff out of the session service. And so if I had multiple, just get these in like this. If I had multiple UDP transmitters, it would end up processing, each one would end up processing all of the sessions. So what I need in each of these is a little layer, tiny little layer sitting in here to handle the fan out to the services underneath it. I need a way of making sure that the UDP transmitter, if I have 1,000 users connected, I don't want to have the one instance do all of those sessions and generate all of those UDP packets. It just might not be able to keep up. So instead, each of these UDP transmitters, if I have multiple of them, should actually be, they should actually only be taking half of the sessions. And I need a way of making sure that all of the sessions get assigned to one, or well, to preferably one transmitter. There we go. kind of what I want it to look like. I wish I could get it to draw a bit nicer than that. I'm sure there's a way, but whatever. So I need to do a couple of things here. I need to work out actual current performance. I need to then implement some sort of fan out mechanism. So this is some sort of a mechanism that allows multiple instances to share their workload. So let's get started on this. First of all, the actual current performance. I suspect that the biggest performance bottleneck at the moment is going to be in the data store. The AI service at the moment does obviously a big, the ticker service, sorry, does a big read on each tick to get all of the components that need processing. And then for each of those components, it does a bunch of other subsequent reads and writes to the data store. So I'm going to start with the main service, what I called it, the entity service. In here, I can presumably just in the controller, put some timing code and just log the how long things are taking. Now, there are better ways of doing this, more structured ways of doing this, but I'm not going to put the effort into those. So I can't remember the names of the libraries that do this, but there are libraries that allow you to trace for a given request coming from a client, how long that request is taking to process and break it up into like a hierarchy. So you spent this much time in the entity service, you spent this much time in the ticker service, and so on. I wish I could remember what those services were called, what that library was called, but I'm not going to bother implementing that. I just want to get a general feel for how long does it take to hit things up in the database. What are the most common things? Well, I guess update is a pretty common one. Been a while since I've written TypeScript. Okay. I need to write some code to time this function. To be a standard way of doing that. TypeScript. Um, uh, um, yeah, console start timer. I'm kind of hoping there's a better way of doing it than that. Console time and console time end. Oh, what I could of course do is uh, for the hell of it, not code, chat.ai. Let's see if OpenAI can. Is that not what AI.com? See if ChatGPT can do this for me. generate a boilerplate TypeScript function that prints how long it takes to run. I started using Rider at work. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? It's yeah, it's I really, really, really like Rider. Potentially, a couple of people. I've tried to contact some people on Reddit to give away those licenses, uh, and there may be a license available. Um, uh, perhaps I could accept a late a late entry for the um, get over onto Reddit and post some screenshots of what you're working on. Perhaps I can. I know you can't for your work, but your indie project. You know, maybe I could accept a late entry, given troubles contacting a couple of people. Okay. Um, so yeah, I'm just going to copy this code. I know you said I could do it with console.time, but actually, can I get it to do console.time and console.timeend? It doesn't have to be pretty graphics. The point is to try and get a discussion and get people to. It doesn't even have to be images of what people are working on. Just descriptions, I think, are valuable. Pretty big function here. Okay, let's see what that did. So I did end up using your suggestion there, Graphic. Now this should be getting a whole bunch of entity updates, right? Oh, that is not what I was expecting. Oh, I'm obviously... Yeah, I'm blogging a bit too much there. Uh, oh. All right, so these aren't terrible. Two and a half milliseconds for an entity update. It's not great. easier to read. Okay, so let's mark up the ticker service then. Something just die? Nope. UDP transmitter. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I want the actual ticker service. Nope. Ticker. Oh. Okay. So console.time. Need to look up the help for console.time. Just want to know what the capabilities of it are. I presume that by using these labels, I can nest. Operation takes gives you, yep, give each timer a unique name. Yes. Okay, so I can nest them by using consistent naming. Okay. Ticker, one tick. And then way down here, this needs to be time end. This is the kind of thing I really love C++ for. I used to work on projects where rather than having to call like a begin and an end, you just create a timing object and then its destructor could go and log the timing information. It makes some much nicer code, and you can't forget to close things out and stuff like that. Oh, right, so that is an issue. It's taking us roughly 10 milliseconds just to process a tick when presumably there's not much actually happening on that tick. Now, if I create a troll, if I can remember how to create a troll, prefab, go. If I go and create a troll, yeah, this is leading to some really slow ticks. I saw, 181 milliseconds. That's not great. Yeah, good. Thank you for dropping in, Griffith, and good to see you too. Um, uh, and yeah, on the garbage collection, yeah, that it's the same in Java. And I don't know about JavaScript, but in Java finalizers are at a massive performance overhead. I expect to be streaming tomorrow, so hopefully you'll be able to pop in then as well. Um, so I do just want to see what it is that's taking up all this time. Uh, let's see. Probably the AI would be my guess. If it is, then that's not the end of the world. Here's our troll. If we give him some extra work to do, no, it doesn't seem to be an issue. Why did we get some slow... I mean, this still isn't great, right? 22 milliseconds is way over our budget already. Like, we need to be able to process all of the entities within 10 milliseconds. Oh, no, I've got 100 milliseconds, sorry. I'm allowed up to 100 milliseconds. But processing a single entity, yeah, that's not great. So I wonder what it is that's taking all this time. Add another troll. It's doing a lot better. I mean, I've got to admit, this is fairly good news. I want to be able to run the tick speed fairly high. And I thought that I was going to have to replace the data layer with something faster just to get this stuff testing at full speed. But that does not seem to be the case. Get close enough for these guys to path find. Yeah, there we go. There was a slow one. So the AI, that must be the AI. Can I prove that it's the AI? Well, I should be able to. Let's up here and remote commands, no. Process sounds, no. Process AI agents. Console.time. Aggro agent. That's not ideal because I don't want these continues to happen. So just time this down here. Let's just time this. This is just the AI part of it, so without writing back out to the entity store. See how that goes. Yeah, these aggro agents are very, very, very slow. Not much, random guy. I've just put a bit of logging into my server to keep track of how long things are actually taking. And it looks like my AI is particularly slow. It's taking a third of a second whenever we're processing the AI. If I run far away, I still don't know why all these extra entities are being drawn. That's due for another time. We're now out of range of these guys. And our ticker is still fairly slow. It's taking 70 milliseconds, 100 milliseconds. Okay, this is all too slow. Okay, I'm going to create a couple more tasks in my little document over here. Aggro AI is too slow. Taking 100 milliseconds per entity per tick. Way, way, way too slow. Another issue is enumerating agents seems to be slow also. Yeah, without any work to do, we should not be taking nearly 100 milliseconds. I'll see if I can break this down a little more. So process AI agents. Let's do a console.log.time fetching agents. And yeah, fetching agents is taking 10 milliseconds. That's not great. It's not terrible. All right, so fetching agents took 10 milliseconds. These took 7 between them. Yep, there's that. All right. If I go and create a bunch more trolls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There they all are. We come back in here and we can see here that it's fetching the agents, does a bunch of processing on them, and it seems to be processing them all one after the other. Now, I don't see any reason why it should need to do that. We should be able to process these in parallel. And yeah, so here's the issue here. We go through each of them in order. And we await this code here. And aggro agent, all right, so this goes off and does a bunch of stuff that is going to be slow. So let's just see if I can speed this up a little bit by factoring this code out. Only process aggro agent. All right. We're going to pull this out into a global function called process agent. Process single AI agent. This is async entity entity. Change this to an arrow function. All right. So this will still have the same problem that our timing is the sum of all of these numbers. But now what I can do is I can actually map entities.map entity goes to process single AI agent entity. So that should return a list of promises. Promise.all of those. Now I think, wait. I think what this will do is it will now process those entities in parallel. No such label aggro agent. What have I done? Okay, it doesn't like the fact that I'm calling these asynchronously. If I give them a better name, replace single quoted. Oops, oh no, I want a template string. I do this dollar, that, yep. And then we'll do entity dot ID. Who is the one? I don't know. Neo? All right, is that going to fix the logging issue? Yes. All right, we've already made a big performance benefit. So you can see here, we spend 10 milliseconds fetching our agents. We go and process all of these agents, but the whole thing only took 32 milliseconds. All right, that's a nice little performance benefit. Likewise, can I defer any work in the actual aggro code? Change the name of your game. Matrix, that's my guess. Or Matrix backwards. Zertan. Okay. So when we're processing it, we have to fetch the list of nearby players. One question I have is this indexed? If in the entity store we're not correctly indexing on coordinates, then this is necessarily going to get pretty slow. I'll ignore that for now. Sorry, jumping around a bit here. Where are my notes? Yeah, okay, I didn't have a to-do item for parallelizing stuff. Let's just keep going. So we do need to do this. We need to know where the players are. All of this stuff has to be synchronous. All of this has to be synchronous. This is where it does all of the path finding. This can be made a lot faster by caching the results. To do cache the path we plan to follow, and don't bother recalculating it looks same. So at the moment, on every single tick, it's running an A star. And our current implementation of A star involves, generating all sorts of meshes and doing all the string pulling and stuff. But most frames, it's just going to be doing exactly the same thing on every frame. If we store the path and the mob is sticking to that path and the player they're targeting has not moved much, then we might as well just not bother recalculating it. And instead just reuse what we've already calculated. That would speed things up. rotate to face the player. It all has to be synchronous though. Yeah, that's all good. Okay, here, I wonder if this really needs to be synchronous. Oh, this has to be synchronous. So this is actually taking the changes that we want to make and bundling them up. Okay. That gets called here. Then return updates from here. In here, we wait for those updates to go out. This is all fine because this itself is asynchronous. But I guess one question I have is, do we do stuff synchronously in here? Because if we're pushing out multiple updates, we should be able to push them all out at the same time. So I'm going to turn this for loop into a map. Let's do promise.all. Updates.map. Update goes to this. Except here, we just want to return promise. Okay, so now, if there are multiple updates to be made, it will just push them all out at the same time rather than sequencing them. This, I don't think, will make a huge difference. Hello, Chris P. Been a long time since I've streamed, and I'm just kind of getting back into it. I'm currently working on finding the performance bottlenecks in my server-side code, and I'll also start implementing a fan-out mechanism so that I can properly scale the server. I'd really like to do a technical demonstration where I could have, well, I'm not going to be able to use real users because I don't have enough people willing to test it. I'd love to be able to demonstrate, 1,000 clients connected and all running around a similar area and show that the ticks are able to process at a decent rate, even with lots of players in the same small area. But right at the moment, I'm just kind of instrumenting my code and getting rid of the uh, the obvious bottlenecks. Yeah, I've unfortunately been busy on other things, Chris. But I think I should have a bit more time to work on this stuff at the moment, which will be good. Okay, what have we got here? Let's add in some more trolls. Uh, all right, that's lots of trolls. Let's run in here, let them. Lots of trolls all on the one spot there. Yeah, you can see this is really slow. See they're processing in fits and starts. And let's get a bit of distance away. Have a look at the log. See what it was actually doing in there. Run. Oh, slow. All right, so it's when things are out of range, it's only a 41 millisecond tick. That's not an issue at all. I'm guessing somewhere in here, I've got some really slow ticks. Oh, something timed out. Okay, so it timed out while pathing. Okay. I was definitely not expecting it to behave like this. I think what's likely to be happening here, these little sections here are going to be from when I was close to the trolls. And so what it's doing is it's running the AI for each of them. These are all running in parallel. These ones here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it's about 16-ish of them that are processing fairly quickly. Well, I don't know why they'd process quickly. Because they should be pathing as well, and I know that the pathing code is slow. I'd say we're getting an exception. Right, I think I might nuke all of my trolls. Start by getting this into my notes. In fact, I think what I can actually do in here is I can do HTTP request. I can actually just put this in like this. Yeah, there we go. I'll actually be able to run that request from inside my notepad here. Kind of cool. Now, how do I delete all of my entities? I think I can just do something like that. Add a troll. Let's go delete all entities. Okay, let's do that. Get rid of those. Change that to delete. Execute. Error executing the request. All right. Might be something wrong. That does look suspiciously like a bug in this tool. Okay, we've got all of our stuff is deleted. Why are they not being deleted? Client. Strange. My delete endpoint broken. I'm guessing my delete endpoint is broken. Okay. Uh, so easiest way of fixing that is I think I can do like docker compose down. Then start the server up again. Run it in the debugger just so that I can, if needed, debug the entity service because something is amiss in the entity service. Now, I'll likely only stream for about another half an hour by some other stuff that I need to do. Oh, this session is dead. So let's just close that. Stop my error. Yep. Rerun. Why I get these extra capsules everywhere. That is one for me to look at later. I have a feeling that's some sort of an item that we don't have a model for. I don't know why. I don't know what they'd be. Bit weird. I might need to implement some sort of a debug widget up here. I used to have one. It used to show your location. I got rid of it, I think, when I moved to the hexagons. But it might be nice if you hover your mouse over something for it to show you the entity ID, for example. It's flag there on the client side that time. Okay, now, if I go and try adding a troll from here, execute request. I need to raise a bug here. Request body. There is no request body. All right. There's our troll. We've got fairly fast ticks being processed. Coming in a bit closer to the troll. And we can see that it slows down a lot. Because he's trying to path find ticker on tick was slow. That's to be expected. Okay. Now, if I go and generate a few more trolls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we now have 6 of them. Ugh. Sound a bit dangerous. And boss fights, yes. Admit. Alright. That sound is the trolls attacking me. Sorry, I'll just get out of range of them and they'll stop attacking me. But there should have been a moment in there where they all tried to attack me. Tried running after me. What I can actually do, because that sound is annoying me as well. Yep, you guys can still hear me. You thought it was coming from your computer. I've muted my desktop audio, so hopefully that will. I don't really need to hear that at the moment. Boss fight's hard to make. Yeah, I've never really done one. I imagine quite difficult to get the balance right. My expectation. Okay. So the issue I have here is I need to, when I have too many trolls loaded, let's go and create another 10 trolls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, if I get too close to the trolls, they'll all start pathfinding to me. That should all be pathfinding. And we can see they're not really doing a very good job of it. Oh, they're gradually pathfinding. Now, if I go and look at some stuff up here, we're getting timeouts while it's trying to do the pathfinding. I think what's happening is it's for each one of these agents on each tick, it's calling out to the terrain service to do the pathfinding for it. But I think that the pathfinding is being handled synchronously. It's not ideal. Let's just have a quick look at the code. It's terrain service. Is the terrain service? Now, here's where we come in. It's going to generate a path. Now, this is async. So I don't believe that this route itself is blocking. However, that has me a bit confused. log dot info started generating a path. I'm trying to work out, I have a feeling that this stuff is all executing serially, which is not what I want. Okay, I will now get into range. It's a bit smaller. What have I done? I can at least see my logs. Okay, then I'll run over until I see that code start to execute. Yes, that's executing. Now I come back. No, it's not doing them serially. You can see that it started generating a path, and then finished generating a path. This is how we want it to behave. It should be generating those paths at the same time. All right, time to go through this code and see if I can find any obvious bottlenecks. I really don't see how we'd have any bottlenecks beyond this point, though. Well, I'll just go through it. So for a given path, it falls into the path controller. It's going to block on this. That's fine, because it should be able to run lots of these at once. It has to await on the mesh. Yeah, I don't think this is the issue. Unless, yeah, okay. The issue I have is that these methods are computation, they're CPU bound. And while we're awaiting the graph builder, come in here, expected. Graph builder, build chunk graph, yes. So while we're waiting for this, it can't swap out to do something else. This is all this is all computational code. There's nothing in here that's IO bound. So while we are running multiple requests, pathing requests at the same time, they are ultimately going to queue up one behind the other. And this is just a limitation of Node, really. What I want to do is I want to push these off into a separate thread. Now, can I prove that this is actually running synchronously? Let's do log.info start build chunk graph. Export there. Down to the bottom. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run up to the controls again, quickly run away, and then look at my log messages. Let's come in here. We should be doing lots of pathing at the moment. Run back out, and then in here, yep. So yes, it's continuously building this chunk graph and unbuilding it. Okay, so this has there are a couple of issues here. One is we keep on building these graphs over and over and over again. We don't need to be doing that. We could be caching the actual chunks in, where's this stuff stored? This stuff, I believe, is stored in Mongo. So if I were to cache the graphs in Mongo, we wouldn't need to build it on every single tick, and that would make things a lot faster. The other issue is that because the building of chunks is CPU bound, there's no IO operations, there are no promises to wait on. We never relinquish control of the terrain service. So while something like this, not going to let me select that text anyway. While it's just building a chunk, the terrain service is going to be blocked. There's no way it can actually do anything because it is in the middle of a function. It's not awaiting. It can't relinquish control. So I really want to push these off onto background threads. Alternatively, I could just scale this service, and that might be a good workaround for now. Okay, so I'm going to make some notes over in my list of things to do. Terrain service needs to cache the graph that it builds. Terrain service needs to be scaled. Now, one of the good things about the terrain service is it doesn't actually depend on anything else. It's only ever called into by other things. So in theory, I should be able to scale it just from inside Docker. I can't remember how to scale in Docker. Docker compose multiple instances on different ports. That's going to be an issue. Compose scale example. Oh, okay, we just say scale. Fair enough. But they're all going to be sharing a port, I think. Not supported. Obviously, install something. Don't recommend. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do it from the command line. Fair enough. Let's try that. Docker compose run. Oh, no, it's start. And then what? Double minus scale. So rain equals 10. Up. There we go. I saw a bunch of. How much longer will I be streaming? Probably only about 10-15 minutes. Random guy. Okay, so what I'm hoping for here is, well, if I can get the instances to run, I'm hoping that I'll be able to process more of these graph builds. I know it's not very efficient, but I should be able to process them properly in parallel. Uh, Now, I presume the issue here is that we're sharing ports or something. Programming external connectivity on endpoint. That fine for that failed. Port is already allocated. Yes. Yeah, so I was hoping this would just scale out of the box. Not going to. And the reason for that is the terrain service is trying to bind this port, sorry. This is the port on the host. This is the port on the container. Now, this can stay the same. So each of the individual containers can have the same port. That's fine. But they can't all bind to the same port on the host. And that means that I'm actually... Okay, so I can give this a range. For example, let's just go, 600 to 15,699, for example. This will now allow them to start up, but nothing will be able to talk to them because they're on the wrong port. Let's just demonstrate this can start up all those services. I'm a bit surprised that that's working. Oh, yeah, as soon as I get within range of a troll now, it should just die because it doesn't know how to contact the terrain service to do its pathfinding. Range again. Oh, it is working. I'm not sure what's happening here. Let's just stop them all. Docker compose, oh no, Docker PS. No containers running. Bring that up again. I'm not sure how that was working just then. Like, I just changed the port number. Ah, I know how it was working. Because it's connecting to the terrain service over the Docker network. Uh, So the issue I have then, and then it's connecting on this port. So these are basically direct connections. Yeah. Confirm that this does still behave the same way. Yep. Still processing the same way. Although these are all different brain services. Here we go. This is behaving exactly as I want it to. You can see that it is actually processing multiple chunks at the same time. So the performance of this should in fact be a lot better already. Probably not going to be ideal. Yeah, they're moving much smoother than they were before. I just had to spin up 10 copies of the pathing service to do it. They're all over the place. You can see them running backwards every now and then. I think that that's because the tick is taking too long to process, and then it means that one tick is finishing and it's writing out its results, but then another one has started in the meantime. And so there's a bit of inconsistency there. That's actually really easy to fix, but I'll get to that later. Okay, so that scalability did work fairly well. That is good to know. All right. I'll definitely be finishing up soon. Terrain service needs to be scaled. I've done that. Yeah, unfortunately, I do want to be able to scale it. I know they say to do it from the command line, but I'm only using Docker for development. I'm not going to deploy to the cloud using Docker. Uh, so I don't think I will. Yeah, I'm planning on using ECS, an Amazon product. How can I tell this to scale? Maybe issue here is just that IntelliJ doesn't know what that means. Scale is not expected here. What version? We're using a very recent version. Uh, Docker compose scale. Catch you around, random guy. Yeah, I'll be finishing up in the next 5 minutes. All right, play replicas. Try running that. I've just got to get this to understand what number? Go. This is looking promising. Come back in.